ready whenever you are.
Sweet.
Are we back to normal cameras now? Yeah.
Yes. I think so.
Excellent.
So Sue, we are back in the studio again. Smitty TV with the MIndreels. That's
Happily
me.
so.
Me and Sue. I'm Tim. This is Sue. July was a long time ago.
It was.
But we had
especially temperature-wise.
Right?
It was very hot that day.
I believe the word I used to describe that day was sweltering.
Mm-hmm.
But we were lucky enough to be able to visit the Murdoch Mysteries set.
Yes.
And we got to meet not only the cast, which was fantastic, but
the back lot.
Right. But we got to chat with a couple of the writers.
Yep.
Including Michelle Ricci, who is joining us tonight.
Yay!
Thank you for coming.
Hi.
And I wanted to say we did have an audio interview with you.
Yeah.
But we had such a good time just chatting with you. We thought it would be better to bring you into the studio and just chat that way.
Sure.
Because it was just so much fun.
Happy to be here.
Right?
It was fun. Because you write all the fun episodes, too.
I didn't say it.
But it's true.
No.
But yeah, so thank you for finding time because you guys are still shooting right at this point.
Still shooting, but all the writing's done, so
Oh.
I got lots of time.
That season is so far away.
I know. I just lounge around, eating grapes.
I wanna do
Michelle
that.
Ricci interview part 2.
Now, of course, if you've seen, well, I don't think we started that question with the episode you may have seen, but we always like to start with your all-time favorite movie, just so we can kind of get a vibe for you.
Oh, snap. My all-time
Or one of.
Yeah, because some people have a tough time.
favorite
I do
movie.
not.
It's going to sound so lame and girly,
All right, it's gonna be Clueless.
but no, I do love that movie. No, Under the
Pizza?
Tuscan Sun.
Oh,
wow.
Diane
No,
Lane.
that's a
Yeah.
good one.
I've had a
Right?
crush on her since Six Pack.
Ah,
I go that far
was a
back.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Kenny
she's
Rogers.
awesome. That is only one of, though.
Oh yeah,
But that definitely has like
she's
a special.
amazing.
Yeah, love her.
Yeah.
Love living in Tuscany.
I've never done that.
Me neither.
I bet I would love
Vicariously,
it.
Yes, exactly.
Vicariously, though, it looks really swell. Good choice, though. Now, the question at the top of my list tonight was, and this is not meant to sound mean at all, but it's just, it drives my curiosity because I was looking at your IMDb page today.
Yeah.
How do you go from a PA/hand double on Smallville
Yeah.
to writing for Murdoch Mysteries?
Yeah. Well, the hand double thing was a big step.
That was the big step?
As it was.
That opens so many doors.
That only happened because the hand double they sent over had a big tattoo on her hand of a spider web in between her thumb and forefinger, and they're doing HD close-ups, right? So that obviously didn't work out, and I got to
On Smallville, too?
I know, hilarious.
Spider-Man reference.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I moved down to LA for a couple years with my boyfriend.
Right.
Well, he's from there, so I moved down there to be with him. And while I was down there, I was reading a whole bunch of scripts because he had a production company, and I was sort of checking everything out, thinking, I could actually probably do this. So I started trying to figure out shows
How hard could it be?
I know, exactly. But I had no experience in the industry
Right.
whatsoever. So we decided that we would move up to Vancouver, and I'd get a job, just grunt job, doing whatever I could to learn a little bit about how it all worked. And I ended up through a friend of a friend getting a job on Smallville, which was great. It was a really great learning experience, and I did get to read the scripts, and I got to see all the revisions and all that. So, and because I was there for 15 hours a day, standing in the rain, I didn't have much else to do. So it was actually really good. I wasn't standing in the rain all the time.
It's
I
really
wasn't
cool.
God.
Yeah. There were those days we shot inside.
Yeah. And because that show was so studio heavy, I mean, everything was in the studio. We went on location maybe 3 days a season, which was crazy. So I got to be around the camera a lot too. And I got to hear the director and, talking to the first AD, and I learned what all the departments did and what everybody was up to.
Oh my
and
God.
so it was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
And during that year, I was there for, I think, season 9 it was. During that year, I finished my application for the CFC and sent it in, because it's a pretty sizable application, so it takes a while. Sent it in, and then I ended up getting in. So straight from off of that, moved back to Toronto. I'm from here. And went to the CFC, and then got the job on Murdoch right away. Yeah, well, I was...
sorry.
I mean, it was just like... luck,
Wow.
right? So, yeah,
But
that's how that happened.
That Smallville thing sounds like it would be so good, like almost like a mentoring program.
It really was. And again, because,
especially if you're willing to just observe and
Yeah.
pick up as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. And I was super lucky because I could have been on any other show in Vancouver. And at the time, there are still quite a few American shows in Vancouver, but at the time there were tons. And most of those PAs were just standing in a field somewhere or standing in Crew Park or standing, random street corner. And I did a couple of those too.
Sure.
I did a couple days on other shows where I was in Crack Alley with all the syringes and the sketchy people coming by while I'm telling them
Vote
to
for
move
Rob
along.
Ford.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't get through.
So
Sorry.
true. And believe me, you don't learn anything other than how miserable it is to be a PA. So I did just get really, really lucky.
Yeah, that sounds so fantastic.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
Oh,
I mean, ridiculous hours and schlepping garbage and sweeping up cigarette butts is no one's idea of a great time. But
when I grow up.
I know.
Yeah, I couldn't do the 15 hours part.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Although if you're having a really good time, though, I could see that it could probably go by at a fairly good pace.
Or if you're busy, because time
If you're
does go
busy.
by
Yeah.
faster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But your feet know how long you've been
Yeah.
standing on them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure.
Because I don't know how fast it shot, how fast Smallville shot, but while we were on Murdoch, I mean, the turnarounds there are so fast.
Yeah, no, it's not like that on American shows. I mean, they're still quick, but they have a lot more time. Where Murdoch shoots in 6.25 days in one episode, Smallville shot 8 days main unit, plus 2 to 3 days second unit,
Wow.
plus half a day of inserts.
Wow.
So,
That's a
I
little bit
mean,
of luxury.
yeah, we've got nothing like that right on Murdoch. Or on any other Canadian show. Most Canadian shows shoot in around 7 days.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Next Gen used to shoot in like 5 days.
Oh, crazy.
Like every week, they'd be on, I think it was either 5 days or 7 days, but it was just boom, done, boom, done, and just that's insane to have that kind of luxury for a TV show. That's insane.
Oh, I know. Amazing.
Yeah. But then, of course,
And then we can get into soap
Exactly.
operas.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
they're
that's gonna be rough,
great.
right?
Because they're on every day of the week. So.
It's like just sort of say something kind of like this,
Yeah.
and you get to the end of
Get
the
to the
scene.
next scene.
It's like okay,
they're holding their script
Yeah.
just off screen. And
they get those old school Bristol boards.
I can totally do that. Why, Denise?
Do I leave the stove on?
Yeah.
That's why they squint so much on
That's
soap
right.
operas.
Reading those cards. But then, you were lucky enough to get to join Murdoch, which
Yeah,
is
super lucky.
fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, when I was on the set, I had gone right back to season 1.
Mm.
And I'm now about quarter of the way through season 2, just catching up. But watching, of course, every new episode that comes down the pipe right now, which is so much fun.
This whole season is ridiculously
it's
fun
brilliant.
so far. I mean, I can't see it getting
It
like
gets-
not fun from here on out
Right?
either.
No, we were sort of laughing when we looked at the board and we saw, the 18 episodes mapped out, and we were like, oh my god, every episode has some crazy, wacky element to it.
Wicked.
Every single one. So I don't know
I'm
exactly.
not just going to solve crimes.
No, every single one. I don't know exactly how that happened, but it did, and we had a really good time.
Well, yeah,
so.
well, I think, this show is established, people know
Yeah.
the characters,
Yeah.
and now after 7 seasons, you can start to have fun with it,
Yeah.
which is...
And yet there's still like character
Oh, the
moments
character
that
arcs are
like
fantastic.
move everything forward and
Because
back in his
I know for a lot
butterflies.
of the fans, it used to be all about Dr. Ogden and Murdoch,
It
but now it's
still
all
is for a lot of the fans.
For me, it's totally about Emily and George.
Oh,
they are
see,
so cute together.
I love them too, and
Yeah.
the nice thing about them is that they're not, loaded with all this baggage,
Right?
and
They're just fun.
and they don't have to get married, and they don't
Yeah.
have to have kids. It's not that kind of, that relationship doesn't have that sort of drive
Yeah.
like the Murdoch Ogden one always did.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the kind of like angsty,
Right? Theirs is just
tortured
so much
romance.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
just fun.
Like the whole scene in
Yeah.
last week's episode, which for those watching at home would have been Night of the Living Murdoch, was where George is talking about how it's got to be zombies, and then Murdoch starts to join in and start saying, well, yes, this, and you kind of see Georgina's face kind of come up and kind of give this look, and Yannick's head kind of goes down as he gives the look at George, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so brilliant. And it's all
So
just little
great.
character beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is so much fun.
Or everything. George shows even the remotest interest in another pretty young lady. Emily's just like, really? Fine. I'm going to dinner.
Oh, I
with someone
know.
else.
They're really, I think the actors are really killing it this season.
They really are.
Fun.
You know, and that's so great to see, because in the 7th year of a show,
You can
for the
do
actors still to be this invested and like the show this much and like their characters this much,
Yeah.
I think is huge, and it
Oh,
makes
yeah.
all the difference. Because they have a good time on set. They like the stuff that we do,
Yeah.
and what
They
they
like
add
going to work
it,
every day.
Exactly.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
And what they add to the scripts always makes it better. You know, Johnny has at least one ad lib an episode, and it's always such a bummer because I'll end up writing, you know, whatever it is that I write, and he'll put in one ad lib, and it's all anybody talks about all the episodes over, and I'm just like, why is he always funnier than me? It's so classic. That was the neti pot, for example. That was Johnny's ad lib, which was such a great moment, right? It was in perfect timing with the like gross skull in front of him and all that. It's great.
Although that whole bit with Wilbur the spider was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was, and he didn't ad lib that.
And then the files that were just that's
Yeah.
so fun. And so one of the big questions that one of the people did ask us today is where, because I know we spoke about this when we're on set, but where do you guys get most of your inspiration from? You know, how much research goes into the show? Where do all the ideas come from, and where can we get them?
Well, actually, I mean, the great thing about this show is we can take an idea or a sort of a classic kind of episode that you've seen a million times, and we can do it again, but because we're doing it in Victorian times, and we can add some crazy steampunkness to it, or some, you know, weird supernatural theory, or some whatever it is that goes with that particular episode. Like zombies is a good example of that. Seen a million zombies, right?
And yet it was still incredibly unique. I mean, the twist on it was just like,
and we're lucky that the show lends itself to that kind of thing.
It really does.
And we always try to keep it grounded in reality, and we try to keep it grounded in the time period, and that actually ends up helping us more than it does hinder.
Really?
Yeah, because we look for things that happen during the day. And just to take lobotomies as an example, I mean, you know, I think I said in that Making Murdoch thingy that it's true they didn't actually do those ice pick lobotomies until decades later. But who's to say that some guy didn't think
they didn't? Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And they were experimenting on the brain, and they were trying all kinds of things. So it's just taking what was actually happening and then just taking it that one little tiny step further that still keeps it accurate, but makes it work dramatically and makes it work for our show.
Totally works.
So yes, going back to what your actual question was, we do a lot of research.
That's so cool.
We start out the beginning of the season seeing what happened in that calendar year. So we were in 1901 for season 7, or we still are, I guess, because it's still airing. To me, it's like okay,
We're done.
season 8.
1908, let's go.
Or so we look at the historical events that happened, as well as any inventions that came out, or new food products, or you know that kind of thing, like the Pizza Hat. That was real. That existed in Chicago. Yeah, that was actually real. A dude sold pizza on a hat. Seriously. So it didn't happen in Toronto, but why not? You know,
Yeah,
how can you
I'm
not?
sure Toronto heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we look for those kinds of crazy things, and then we'll sort of talk about different episodes that we want to do. You know, if it's a ghost in Queen's Park, or if it's we want to do something in a nudist colony, or if we want to do I can't even remember anything anymore.
Please just have Murdoch hanging out in a nudist colony and trying to be
That was so fun.
even remotely normal.
You know.
That alone is the episode. You don't even need anything else.
Or we want to talk about reincarnation, or we want to talk about, you know, like whatever the theme is or the world. We'll start from different places and then just take a look at all the resources that we have, historically speaking, and then we'll do a bunch of research and try to figure out how it all fits in.
Now, when you say research, let's be clear, we're not like talking Google and Wikipedia. You guys are like take it in, right?
Yeah, well, it starts with Google and
I
Wikipedia.
Google.
Right?
To be fair. But no, there is a place called the library that has actual books in it.
What?
Yeah. We do go there sometimes. And
I've heard of such things.
strange.
Strange words being used.
We
Books
have,
and-
Library.
Yes, I don't
Library,
understand.
library, yeah.
We all have library cards.
Wicked.
For one episode, I know my colleague Carol, she did an episode in season 4 that was all about telephone operators. and
yeah, I saw
Dial M for
Mhm.
Murdoch. I love that one.
Oh.
Such a great episode.
I'll have to get
And
that.
she went to the Toronto Reference Library here and went to the librarians because she just didn't really know where to start and said, I want to find out what was going on with telephone exchanges and how they worked. And when she told them that she worked on Murdoch Mysteries, they all just
after
went
pulling out,
bananas.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and they were all just pulling all this stuff for her, and they were so into it, and they found her all this amazing
That's
information.
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's why that telephone exchange is so real looking, and all that, worked well for the story.
Yeah.
Well, I love the fact that, Murdoch Mysteries is now so well received and so popular that it can open doors like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect ambassador for Canadian television because it's worldwide at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge in Japan. Right?
In
That's what I've
Japan,
heard.
really?
That's really big in Japan for some reason.
I don't know.
And
just-
then,
I
of
just
course,
know they love
England,
us in
of
It's
course.
taking over the
France.
States now.
Yeah, finally.
Well,
Maybe.
taking
Although
over.
they changed the name.
Yes, the Artful Detective.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is that about?
No one's quite sure, but we think that because Ovation is technically an arts channel, and in order to keep their designation, they have to show arts programming. Otherwise, they'll get booted off, or I don't 100% know, so don't quote me on this, but that's the prevailing theory anyway.
As long as it's aired, I guess that's important.
Well,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
the thing.
Although I'd be curious to see what their numbers are like because now
I
with
don't
the
know.
internet,
Yeah.
people are watching basically CBC stuff as it airs via CBC or downloading.
What? What was that? What was that?
Blackberry?
So yeah, I'd be kind of curious to see how it does. Although let's be honest, a lot of octogenarians, great word, aren't going to be using the internet to download.
And septuagenarians.
Oh, that's good too.
Sextugenarians?
I don't want to go.
I
into
want
too
to
many
be one of
rooms.
those.
Quintuagenarians?
Quintuagenarians.
I can keep going. No.
You'll get to us.
It's sort of funny though, because we have this very diverse audience, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, yes, a lot of older people watch our show, for sure. But we also have a lot of
Yeah,
younger
a lot of young
people.
audience too.
It's like this under 20 group.
And like kids.
And kids. So it's almost like they all started watching with their parents, right, when they were maybe
Right?
11.
Yeah,
And now, 7 years later,
they're still there.
they're 18.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting evolution.
really
We've got
cool.
kids in university, and there are a whole bunch of people in their 30s too, that you see once in a while pop up on the boards. But then, of course, I don't know how representative Facebook and Twitter really are of our audience as
Sure.
a whole.
Yeah.
But it is just
Assuming
kind of
that every
interesting
single person uses it.
Yeah,
how it's really this broad range of
Yeah.
ages.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
Because
it's
I mean,
neat.
even at Fan Expo,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just looking at the audiences, the people came in, it was everybody.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, little kids. I mean, and little kids.
Little kids. I
Yeah.
know.
And
Sometimes they come to the studio and they're 6, 7, 8 years
that's
old.
awesome.
And they're like, this is my favorite show.
And they were
it's
probably more well behaved than we were.
yeah. Yeah, it is the cutest thing.
That
They
would be
wish
fantastic.
they could do the stuff we did though.
It was, yeah, that back lot
I would have
was
run around that
amazing.
back lot way more if it wasn't so stinking hot out.
Oh, that back lot is super fun. I know.
I kept bouncing between wanting to play Murdoch and wanting to play classic Star Trek because it just felt like a classic Star Trek set to me. I want to be like Captain Kirk.
It totally does. You get some styrofoam boulders
Right?
rolling
Yeah.
down,
Although,
throwing some tumbleweeds.
it was in the zombie episode where it shows the butcher shop.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
we were there. And I just love all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was something with the hotel where somebody's coming out of the hotel, and I'm like, oh, you can only see so much of the hotel because little things like that just geek me right out.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the
We
set
knew when
deck,
we were outside the window.
the windows. I can't imagine. I mean, I find set decoration so interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how they come up with it. The designs, I mean, that's, production design to set decoration. I don't know how they come up with that stuff. I don't know where they find it. And then it looks just so
It looks
real.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And the detail. I mean, you guys saw that, right?
Yeah,
Walking
there's
around the
stuff
set.
you will
Yeah.
never see on camera.
Never.
Like when we were there, I was like, oh yeah, there weren't postal codes yet. Like the address was just like,
Yeah.
William Murdoch in
Yeah.
Toronto.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Basically. And I actually went home and like Googled it. I was like, when did postal codes happen? And
Oh, I
stuff,
remember
'cause I was-
having that discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until like after the war. I think.
Yeah. Murdoch makes me learn history.
But I love the fact that it's now
Me too.
a family show.
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't have the connotations that a family show used to have. Like, oh, it's a family show. Like, you know.
No.
There's still at least one body per episode.
Oh, right.
At least. For a while, I was. I think I've broken the curse now. Have I? Not really.
Oh.
But there was a joke about how my episodes always had like 1 million bodies. I was just dropping them left, right, and center. I was like, I'm a little bored. Die. Of course, it's not up to me. It's just the way that it worked out.
And then Murdoch trips over a body. Dun, dun, dun.
I know. Murdoch's like, I don't have time for you right now. I'm working on that guy. I'm going to put that in the next one.
Now, without making any of the actors jealous, is there a character who's easier to write for?
No, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and that's not me being suck-uppy either.
Or diplomatic?
No, I mean, I like writing each one of them for different reasons, but I wouldn't say any one of them is easier to write than any of the others. Especially by now, they're all so well established.
Yeah.
They're all actually pretty easy to write. You can hear their voices in
Yeah, I
your
was
head
about to
while
say,
you're...
while you're writing it, if you can hear the voices, that's probably a good sign.
And I mean, oftentimes I'll write a line and I'll start to giggle to myself because I can't wait to hear Johnny say it or hear Tom say it. Or especially when you give Yannick a joke, then you just know it's going to be gold because he doesn't get them very often, right? And he just hits them. It's great. Or you come up with something particularly cheesy for Helen to say, which we do sometimes. There's a line coming up in Loch Ness Murdoch that is just so cheesy, and we were giggling about it all season. She said it so well. And then with Georgina too, right? I mean, she's doing such great work. Anything you give her is just great.
She just makes me giggle every time she's on screen.
I know.
She just got
I know, because we liked her character, but then when we got to meet her, we're like, she's just she's standing there in her period dress, all like a little firecracker.
I know.
Like, she's so wee and
gotta be tough to work with.
It just cracks me up every time.
We even have a great time writing Higgins.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give him some really snarky comment, right? You're just like, that's gonna be funny.
Well,
We're such nerds.
I love the fact that his character is has grown though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he just started out almost background with maybe the occasional throwaway line, and just keeps working his way in a little further.
Yeah. Well, I think because when we had the addition of Dr. Grace, that really changed everything because it's hard enough to service 4 main characters in a story, and when you add in a 5th, there's only so much that each person can do, right? Yeah. So it's tricky sometimes to find that balance, but every so once in a while you just need another constable.
Oh, totally.
So as we sort of kept going along, we kept finding this kind of rude sort of voice for Higgins. And we just found that because now Crabtree has Grace as a partner, and sometimes she helps him solve stuff too, right? That the sort of Higgins Crabtree buddy scenes sometimes go to Grace. So we sort of started evolving Higgins as kind of a different, slightly different attitude, and we started to have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, but I think those scenes are a lot of fun.
He's a hoot.
I love having Higgins Crabtree scenes. You're so funny.
Yeah, Johnny's just fantastic.
Yeah.
He's undeniably my favorite character on the show, just because he's so much fun.
He's so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, yes, Yannick is amazing, and Helen is just,
she's unnaturally beautiful.
She's just,
it's kind
gorgeous.
Of ridiculous, yeah.
I know, you just see her on camera and you're like, what?
I know. And you see her in person, you're like, oh, you really look that good.
Yeah.
In fact, better in person somehow, which it shouldn't be natural either.
Yeah.
Who else? Jensen Ackles on Supernatural. I'm like, there's some people that probably aren't even really human. There's no possible way that they were born here in a natural state. They're
Which
just too perfect.
Is a nice segue into, what other shows would you like to write for, or what shows do you like to watch at home?
I watch a lot of British TV.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Kaylee's happy about that.
Yeah. I like the Brits.
Yeah, you do.
There are some great Aussie shows also. They're harder to find.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, there's one. It's now being remade as an American show, which hurts my feelings because it hurts me personally. Because it's arguably one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Wow.
Called Rake. They're remaking it with Greg Kinnear. And anyway, and I don't know how they're going to make it because it was so irreverent and so, I mean, you just hated and loved this guy at the same time. And there's no way they could do half of what he did on American TV. It was a legal show. And he was just this like degenerate slob, slut, horror disaster, but you just loved him anyway. He was in love with this prostitute.
And it's like Rake, R-A-K-E? Or?
R-A-K-E. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So the remake with Fox is going to air in January, and I just don't know if I can watch it because it's just
it'll be canceled in
but it's a fantastic show.
I'll have to look for it when I get home.
Absolutely.
Did you see Life on Mars, the original?
I did see some of the original, not all of it. I think I saw just the first season. Yeah, I liked it.
Good television.
I liked it. There's really good British stuff out
there
right now.
There really is. Yeah. I keep meaning to start watching Luther with Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Went off the rails a little bit this last season, I think. A little bit. Only because they watered him down a bit. I don't know why that happened, but the first season is amazing.
Yeah? Okay.
The first season is amazing. And I really like the second season too, even though it gets a little crazy in parts. But no, really, really good show.
Yeah, I just think Idris can, at this point, he can do anything.
Yeah.
He's like one of those actors you can just say, go do this. And he would knock it out of the park.
And then there's, of course, Ripper Street.
I keep looking at that, and I'm never quite sure whether I want to watch it or not.
Watch it.
Okay.
I thought the first half of the first season was great.
Okay.
And then they changed what the show was.
Really?
And now we're in the second season, and they... I don't know. Again, it's paining me because it could be so great. Their backlot is probably 5 times the size of ours.
Oh, man.
It's amazing. But I'm telling you that they watched Murdoch Mysteries and said,
and that's what it is.
And said, we can do this. Because there are establishing shots and there are moments that are just the same. And they have like the young ingenue constable. Okay, it's a very different show, but it's also very much the same. Okay. And there are some weeks where, I forget, it was before the Sherlock episode aired in season 6. Okay. Which, starts with the explosion of the robbery of the carriage, right? And there's a little mini explosion or nitroglyceride, or I'm probably totally wrong. I can't even remember. It's terrible. Anyway, so the week after or before that episode was airing, the Ripper Street episode aired, which had almost the exact same carriage heist in the beginning, using like nitroglycerin or whatever it was to burst open the carriage. I'm just watching this going, how is this possible? I mean, it was exactly the same thing. It was completely hilarious. They couldn't have seen Murdoch because it hadn't aired yet, but I'm telling you, somebody watched our show.
Huh.
Someone leaked a script or something.
They did. Yeah. But the casting is phenomenal in that show.
Yeah,
and the costumes are so great. They're so great. I'm a sucker for period costumes.
Downton Abbey then?
Yeah.
I fell out of that. I stopped after, I think, season 3.
It's just so ridiculous. Yes, I still watch it. But, that doesn't mean I'm not yelling at the TV.
Like Sue does with Walking Dead.
That show makes me so angry.
Sue watches it, and then she'll come in the next morning and go, I watched it last night, and within the first 30 seconds, I was so mad.
It does. It makes me really
I'm all
angry.
caught up, man. I rolled my eyes so many times.
That's exactly what I do. Wow. I only watch it when I feel like venting.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think now it's just therapy for me to, see how much wrong I can pick out make myself feel superior.
That's right.
Wow.
That's why I haven't seen my therapist in so long. It's The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah. Wow. Now you've got a couple episodes coming up though yet this season.
I have 1 1/4.
1 1/4.
Yeah.
All right.
So Loch Ness Murdoch is coming up on Monday.
Yeah, it is.
And Sunday for us.
And Sunday for us.
Shut up.
Which is really exciting. No, I think it's really cool that they're gonna air it.
I think it's an awesome idea.
At the Canadian Television Festival.
Is this the first year that they've done anything like that?
It's the first year they've ever done it.
Never seeing anything.
It's the first year they've done it. I think, as far as I know, the Murdoch one sold out within.
That's what I've heard.
I think so.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's all kind of working, but It should be neat.
And I actually won tickets for Murdoch because there was like an email thing first. And I was like, well, I'll try that first, and if that doesn't work, then I'll try and get tickets when they go on sale. And I go, congratulations.
Yeah. And I don't know if there were a lot of tickets left after that.
That's insane.
I don't know, because they seem to disappear really quickly.
That's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's fantastic. I'm really excited about it. It should be a lot of fun.
I'm doing the Bitten one.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I heard rumors that they're showing like the first 5 episodes of season 1 of Orphan Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a couple of binges. I think
and Sherlock.
Sherlock
is kind of strange.
It is one of my favorite shows.
I'm really looking forward to the next season.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, I think he's great.
They're having like a reunion for a show that I can't remember.
Made in Canada.
Oh man, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cool stuff and it's a lot of different stuff. So
And premiering 19.2, I think.
Yes.
Too, which I'm also really excited about. I have a friend.
And Spun. There's some kind of thing with
Spun Out.
Spun Out.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's Dave Foley's new sitcom.
Oh, okay.
And then Kim Cattrall.
Yep. I thought she was gonna be there. Yeah.
For her new sitcom.
Yeah.
I shouldn't call it a sitcom. I don't think that's what it is.
Dramedy?
It's something like that. I think
all these words.
It's weird that we just didn't get invited to all these. I'm just saying. Katie Bolan has said we are champions of the Canadian television industry.
You are.
It's disgusting, isn't it? We are everywhere on Canadian television. They love us.
Absolutely.
But I love so much about Murdoch Mysteries right now because, like I said, I've gone back to season 1 just to kind of get into it because I haven't seen anything in the middle yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have so much to catch up
on.
on.
No kidding.
But
oh my God, you have so much to catch up on.
I'm loving every minute of it because at this point, from where we are, MIndreels and everything we do, we know like a good percentage of the guest stars that I come in.
Yeah, of course you do.
Hey, look.
And some of them come more than once.
Right?
Yes, they do.
Because we were talking with Paul Amos when we were on the last
show. Oh, yeah. Love him.
I'm like, dude, I just saw your episode on season 2. He's like, oh yeah, and when I did this, I'm like, it just stuns me that he still remembers all of it.
Yeah. Have you seen season 5 yet? No. Aww.
One season at a time. Not 2 seasons, because season's like 1 season 2.
So you're in this weird place where you kind of know what happens, but you don't know what happens.
I mean,
and I'm in a different spot because I think it was over the summer. There was a point where I was like, I'm going to start watching Murdoch regularly. But we were in between seasons, so I was like, I'm gonna set my PVR to just record it whenever it's on.
Yeah.
So I was getting stuff from all over the place, but it was like all summer long. It was like 4 or 5 times a week.
Yes.
So I had a bunch of episodes, and then if I'd seen them before, I'd either watch or not watch, depending on how much time I had. But
I'm loving every second of it because it's just such good television. And to go in where I am in season 2 now and watch season 7, you can see. I can see that the characters have grown and changed, which is fantastic.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Because you can't have characters stay static.
No.
Not like 70s episodic television. You can't do that
No,
anymore.
you can't. You really can't. I mean, people are already frustrated with the characters.
No names were mentioned.
For some reasons. Some of our fans are ready to kill us.
That's it was on the boards for IMDb, and there's some unhappy people.
Yeah. I mean, like any show, you're gonna have people like the evolution. You're gonna have people not. That goes without saying. But I think the majority of our audience does like what we've done and is going with us. Is sort of following the characters on their various journeys.
Very cool.
They might get a little grumpy with us later on in the season, but we'll see what happens.
Because relationships don't go perfectly smooth the whole time.
No, they don't. And again, what people do forget is that this was a different era, and everything moved at a glacial pace.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Especially these two people, especially Murdoch and Ogden, who come from different social strata, who would not normally have crossed paths, and who are not expecting...
I don't even know if you can use social and Murdoch in the same sentence, really.
Well, he's getting better.
He is. He's doing much
He made
better.
a joke last week.
I was very impressed at how
he was very pleased with himself.
He sure was.
I was very impressed at how quickly he got over his aversion to butterflies.
Well, only with the good doctor's help.
Holding his hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really,
if he was by himself, I don't know. Would have been like,
If she'd let go of his hand, I think he probably would have bolted, but...
That would have been a much different ending.
Oh, yeah. But it was
all backlit nicely in there.
It was a good
You can
episode.
have him run.
Because we had just had David Richmond Peck on.
Yes, we did.
That was hilarious. He was on 3 shows in 4
That's what he was
days,
saying.
right?
He was
on 2 on the same night.
His Blade aired, yeah, and then Murdoch and Cracked on the same night. I was like, dude,
the guy's
it's hilarious.
Everywhere. Yeah, if I was writing, I would write him into everything at this point.
I know.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, I watched all your shows, and he hadn't even seen one of them yet.
Play,
I can't remember. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I was like, dude, you killed that scene. He's like, I took that part for that scene.
Ooh, which we asked Gail Harvey when she was in. And do you guys, when you come up with a script and realize that you're going to have a guest star in it, do you guys write with somebody in mind, or do you just kind of write?
Sometimes, not always.
Yeah.
Sometimes the guest star comes after the fact. But yeah, sometimes we know that so and so is going to be on this season, and so we'll try to think of a really great part for that person.
Right.
And we don't necessarily build an episode around that, but this episode needs a doctor, you know, another scientist. Oh, that's great, because you always love to have on a guest star who isn't going to be the murderer, because this is just one of my things, right?
Yeah.
You see Victor Garber,
You're like,
and you go,
murderer.
well, you're the murderer.
You're the guest star, you're the
Right?
murderer. Yeah.
So to
I've
me,
seen you before.
Exactly. So to
Just
me,
not
it's
here.
always great when you can have on the guest star, when you can have on Wendy Crewson, who's going to be on later in the season, and
She was married to Harrison Ford.
she's not the murderer, right? So, and that's not a spoiler because it's very obvious from the very beginning that she's not the murderer. It's not a spoiler, I promise.
She actually gets killed 2 minutes in.
Yeah, so
who did I get upset about that? It was the Carlin Burchell episode where she like disappears 2 minutes in, and then they think they find her body or whatever. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was so excited to see her in the credits. She's gone.
That's spoiler.
Next time Drew Barrymore on, and just kill her right away.
I think that happened with 2 of Yannick's daughters. They were both killed in the tease. The third one managed to survive through the episode, but yeah.
That's hilarious. Now I'm thinking, no, I don't want any names.
Sure.
But at this point, after 7 years, you got to have a list of people who are actually asking to be on the show.
I don't know if that's true.
Really?
Yeah,
I can
don't
think
know.
of like half.
Do you have a list of people that you want to be on the show?
Yeah. If you could have
yes.
a dream cast, who would you have a guest star on the show?
My dream cast, like realistic
Yeah,
or unrealistic.
Both.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. He's Canadian. He'll do it.
He'll come back, right?
Totally.
Do a little Breaker High reunion on the show.
Katie's
Okay.
loving that.
Right? Yeah. Tyler Levine. Again.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Gosling. And Rachel. Oh, shoot.
McAdams?
Yes, but she wasn't on that show. But yes, absolutely. No.
Oh, yeah. We're still doing that.
I don't know who that Rachel was then.
No, shoot. Oh, this is embarrassing. She was in our show already. She played the telephone operator in the episode that you haven't seen yet.
But I've seen it.
And she
and I
was
like, oh, there's somebody I knew.
Doyle's wife in season 1 on.
Oh,
Republic of
okay, I know
Doyle.
who you're talking about.
Yeah, you totally know. I know
see
who
it.
I'm talking about, and I can't remember her name right now. It's horrible. Anyway, I love her too. So.
Because, I mean, you know, if Republic of Doyle can get Russell Crowe for a couple episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying.
Why can't we?
Yeah.
Actually, I'd love to see Christopher Plummer on the show.
Christopher Plummer would be,
he would be
oh
amazing.
my god.
That'd be
Because he
amazing.
totally rocks the period costumes. Anyway.
Yeah.
So great.
He'd totally
I
do
know.
that.
And we'll get him to sing. No, would never happen.
We're just having fantasy here anyway.
Like, it's
We're
the
just spitballing.
The Sound of Murdoch.
See? The episode is coming together even
A
now.
full musical episode.
I love it. I love it.
It could totally happen.
Joss Whedon does it all the time.
Well, he's done it once. Maybe that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. needs. I'm just saying.
Oh.
A musical episode? I think it's too soon.
Too soon.
You know who I love as a guest star, and I actually hope that he finds a way to come back more, is Michael Cedar, because he is a creepy damn character.
Well, we are going to see him this season.
Oh, very nice.
So, and that's also not a spoiler because it's been all over.
Yeah, I think he mentioned
Yeah.
it last time he was
I
in
think
on
he.
the show.
Yeah.
I think he even tweeted it himself. Like a picture from set, going, "Look, here I am." We're like, "Oh, dude."
Well, even when they
That's fine.
hung him, it wasn't even him. So
Well, they haven't hung him yet.
yeah, exactly.
So-
So but the first time.
Yeah, that episode, I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't seen any of it, but it's going to be pretty great.
Now, in terms of social media,
yeah,
because I mean, almost all of the cast have Twitter accounts. The writers, a lot of the, Peter Mitchell has one. How much control, like, how much do they say, okay, you can tweet this, you can't tweet this? Because when we were on Lost Girl, I mean, we weren't even allowed to take pictures on set.
Wow.
And there's signs everywhere that says don't tweet, don't Facebook, don't do any of this, which is good.
I could
like
see
to
that
anyone,
on that show.
not the cast, not the crew.
Yeah, I could see that on that show, though, because even the smallest thing can really ruin a plot line for them. They're so serialized. No, I mean, it's not that. Everybody sort of understands. We did have some crew, taking some pictures, tweeting some things they shouldn't have, just because they didn't know what was happening in the rest of the season, right? Yeah. But I mean, certainly insofar as the writers are involved, we almost say nothing. Yeah. Now I have my mother bugging me for spoilers. I won't tell her anything. She's got a big mouth, that woman.
We're sitting on a picture of Murdoch's board from the upcoming episode.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Said,
you took a picture of the board?
And they're like, don't put that up.
We're like, we're not. I'm like, I'm excited that I have it, but I'm excited to see it in the show, and I'm excited to see how people react to it, because it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
From Loch Ness? Is that? Oh, like the chalkboard.
Yeah.
That chalkboard was pretty great. If I do say so myself.
Yeah, because we walked into and we're like, cameras were coming up like click, click.
I know. I think I pointed at it and started to laugh. Like I was like a cartoon of myself. Yeah, for a moment.
I must have spent probably half an hour doing up that chalkboard.
That's fantastic.
And then I would stop, and then I'd start it over again, and then I'd stop and start it over again. And I ended up, I don't know why, it's like I had better things to do. But instead of just writing it out by hand, I decided that I would do it in Microsoft Word, which, as you can understand, involves some challenges. Since it required various lines and so on. And so I spent all this time going, okay, how do I draw lines? And all the other writers are like, what are you doing? I was like, no, it's going to be cool. It's going to be really good this way. And then everyone will know what it's supposed to look like. So I still have that on my computer.
That's weird.
And I did go take a picture of the chalkboard also.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Like, I'll post it after the episode airs, just so that we can all enjoy it again. But
it might actually be
so
like
awesome.
my cover photo for my Facebook page.
Totally.
Because so good. And then of course we got to see what the monster looked like, because we saw the prop for it. I'm not saying a word. But
we
saw the bikes.
Everything
was
the
all
bikes.
in the hall together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, all the bikes were still in the hall then.
Yeah.
There were a lot of bikes.
Yep.
I know. It was pretty cool.
But,
I don't know how Craig found all those bikes. I don't know how Craig finds anything. It's amazing. I always love going down to the props room, because Craig will be like, hey, Michelle, and I'll just go over, and he's like, look what I found at Random Antique Market this weekend. And I'm like, what is it? He goes, I don't know, but it'll look cool if I make it into something. And it's like, right on. Has all these weird wires and lights, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
The stuff he comes up with is just beyond
the props
amazing.
Room was fantastic.
So fun, right? It's like a little candy land that you don't eat.
There's not a single place in that entire building that was not cool.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We were talking with the costume designer.
Oh, I love wardrobe.
Oh my god,
I love
that
Alex.
was ridiculous.
He's
Alex,
so
that's
great.
what it is. Yeah, and
I don't even think I looked at him through the whole interview, because I was like,
I know.
looking around
I
at
know.
stuff.
Oh my god, some of those. Well,
Tim tried on a hat.
Yeah, I had that picture of me with the bowler. That's got to go up.
They're great. Yeah, put that up.
Because I can totally rock a bowler, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. But, oh my god, there's nothing on the show that's not good.
I know.
I mean, and that's not me kissing up on any level. It's just the attention to detail, the writing, the acting, the production value.
The way everybody gels together. Like, people weren't even talking sometimes. It was just like everybody knows what they need to do, and they all do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're really lucky, because we're a pretty low-budget show, even by Canadian standards.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and having to pull off a period show
every week
with a low budget, to what we like to keep a fairly high standard, I hope, right, is a challenge. And if you don't have everybody on board working their butts off, then it's never going to happen. And so we're super lucky that everyone just really is really invested in this show, even to our crew, even down to the I don't even know who. I mean, a PA, even a day player will come in and still take pride in the work that they're doing that day, which is great because if they didn't, then the show wouldn't be half as good.
Yeah.
Everybody has to love it, right?
And it's obvious that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there and we were just stunned by just how everybody gets along. It's just it's a quick move. It's a very fast moving set.
Yeah.
But there's no, and there's undeniably some kind of pressure going on to get the shots and blah blah. But you don't feel pressure.
It never feels that way.
Which is
it never feels rushed. It never feels like stressful.
No.
Well, other than trying to do
I mean,
job.
we were wandering through the precinct set, and Yannick hadn't been on set yet. But apparently someone had told him that we were visiting the set that day. So no sooner had he arrived than he comes running right over just to say hi before he even goes to change into wardrobe. I'm
He's
like,
so
dude,
great, isn't
that's
he?
just totally professional.
I know. He is a classy guy.
He really is.
Considering that he's there every day for 13, 14 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's in every scene. And, he gets his hour off for lunch and that's it. And even then, not always. Because sometimes we have read-throughs during lunch. Sometimes he's got interviews to do. Sometimes CBC shows up to do their promos. Right? All the time. So he's the ultimate professional.
Yeah, I think I said it in my article because and I'm going to apologize, Yannick, because I do know that some of my questions, when I asked them, might not have come off as nice as they could have, but they were totally meant out of complete respect because I'm like, how do you carry a show every day for 7 years? I mean, it's amazing that I was stunned. I was completely floored, and he's just the nicest guy.
The nicest guy.
I'm like, dude, not only professional, he's friendly, he's smart, and he made time for us, which was just fantastic. So, and I love the fact that he wears sneakers when
I know.
Dude, you're so cool.
I know. It's always funny.
I kind of feel proud of him because I feel like I've been watching him forever. Like when he was on Hockey Night with Megan Follows and stuff. Like back in the day,
I love that movie too.
Like we were all in love with him, in grade 7, 8 and stuff. And what was it? Brothers by Choice. He was on was a TV show or a miniseries, I think, for a while.
No, I don't know that one.
But it was like
apparently he was in an Alanis Morissette video.
Yes, I just watched that.
CBC, I just saw it the other day. I'm like, dude.
With Matt LeBlanc.
Yep.
So great. Random. So great.
And so Canadian.
Totally.
Yeah, somehow.
Yep. It's
But it makes me proud of him that he's like become such a successful person and stays humble and stays true to who he is.
Totally.
Yeah.
Internally as opposed to becoming
It's
someone else.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. And I think Murdoch in someone else's hands would be a totally different character too. Like
yes.
Yeah.
There's only it takes a special kind of man to carry off that sort of reserved.
It's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
And yet still so expressive.
Yeah, because I think it must be harder for an actor to keep emotions inside than to
pull it back.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be hard. And you see so much of them through small gestures, through his eyes, through the little pauses he'll build in, that it's really I mean, I think
it's all
he's
in what
great.
he doesn't say or do.
Yeah.
That's where the performance is, and it's amazing. Because a lot of other actors would just oversell it.
Yeah.
And he's just got this quiet reserve. And
it's like make him too nerdy or something. Like there would always be something.
Yeah, but he walks a really fine line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, to wrap up, what would be your dream episode to write?
That you haven't yet.
I don't know. I've loved all my episodes so far. What would I want to do that I haven't done yet? Oh!
There we go.
I know. But do I want to say it? Because we might actually do it.
All right, give us a hint. Give us something to Google on Wikipedia and go to the library.
It's a Victorian sort of superhero
Yeah.
who actually existed in Penny Dreadfuls.
Okay.
But towed the line between superhero and evil villain.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hooked. I will be there. I'd watch that episode. Well, I'm watching all the episodes. So it's a moot point. But yeah. Although I when I walked off the set that day, I had an idea, and I actually started researching it afterwards, and it looked like they had kind of done something similar already. And this is not my story pitch. Here's my idea.
Okay.
Is that during the late 1800s, and in the early 1900s, there was the big airship scare in America.
That's right.
Which may have led to, was the earliest possible UFO stories.
Yeah.
And they kind of did something like that in the first season-ish.
Yep.
Which kind of made me feel bad because I'm like, dude, I could totally write. Oh, there it is right there. I'm like, this would have been perfect.
I know. That's what happens after 7 seasons.
Did
Not done everything.
got it, need it, got it, yeah.
We still get mad at season 1 episodes because they would throw like 15 themes into one episode. You're like, but that could have been.
We could have used this. Yeah.
We could have milked just so much out of this.
Honestly.
And though it's still
Georgian aliens, come on.
And then, although it's we're in 1901 right now, so it's still a number of years off. And one would hope the series could still be running, but I'd love to see how
Second World War
World War
One.
Yeah, that is a few years away.
It's a number of years off, but it would still be.
I think Murdoch might be retired by then. Yeah.
But there's always the possibility of TV movies.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because I'd love to.
We'll do a Downton. Right? Where every year you just skip ahead a decade.
Right? That's what threw me the first time. I'm like, what happened?
Previously on Murdoch.
That's awesome. Michelle, thank you so much.
No,
this was so much
really fun. Thanks for having me,
love
guys.
this. I do, although, all right, one more last question.
Okay.
I totally forgot to bring this up.
Okay.
Your writing process.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Do you like have headphones on and just write? Do you lock everybody out? How do you write?
Yeah, I'm all for quiet.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can't stand music on while I'm
Really?
writing. It drives me nuts because I start
can't
to
either
hum
because
along.
then I'm
Yeah, I can't. And I even tried with classical for a while, but no, that didn't work either because then I'd be like, la, 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 la. So no, I need quiet. I mean, I'm okay with a little bit of white noise. I'll do coffee shops for a while, and then I can't be there. I have to be at home, and then I can't be at home. I have to be at the library, and then I can't be at the library. I have to be. So I sort of skip around.
Wow.
And when I'm at home, I'm all over the place. I'm at a desk. I'm on the bed. I'm on the floor. I don't know.
So what would you say to somebody who wants to start writing television?
Just start writing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just tell the story?
Just do it.
Nice. Perfect.
Okay, we will.
I'm gonna. Michelle, this is so much fun. I can keep going, but Kaylee gave me the little sign like 7 minutes ago that we're coming up on it. But thank you, Kaylee, because that's what we asked for.
Thanks, Kaylee.
But that was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh.
Yeah. Happy to come back.
Yeah.
That's just invite
At least a
myself.
couple times a season.
Yeah.
Sure. There'll be lots to talk about in the second
Just
half.
come every week and be like, so this week on
this
Murdoch.
week,
Yeah, right. I'll do the Murdoch.
The Murdoch update.
Monday Minute.
I know I didn't write the show, but it was really fun. Oh,
The triple
see?
M.
Not
The
bad.
M cube.
A lot of alliteration.
Not bad.
The M cube.
Yeah.
The M.
It's like my Canadian name on Facebook. They have like that little chart.
Murdoch Minute. The Murdoch Mysteries Minute with Michelle.
Oh.
M.
Ooh.
Oh, thank y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Perfect.
On the MIndreels.
Oh!
This is a show that never ends.
Kaylee, thank you as always over on the cameras and the sound. Good job. This is her 3rd episode.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yay. Sue, good show.
Tim, thanks.
I'm gonna go home
You
now.
too.
I was gonna watch something else. I'm watching the Murdoch Mysteries now when I get home.
Yeah.
I have so much to catch up on, which is good.
Yeah.
I have so much to discover.
I know.
Which I really like.
I feel like I just ruined about 2
No.
seasons for you here.
God, no. Although CBC wants to send me the Blu-rays.
Make it a little easier to get caught up.
I'm just saying.
I was just glad I got to see how season 6 ended before season 7 started.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what happens to Ogden's husband? I know something happened.
I know there were a couple people who were even like, "What's Ogden doing? Didn't she hang?" I'm like, "Oh no, you didn't watch the last episode." I know.
There was a
I
thing.
googled it. So I know what happened. But that's awesome. Good episode.
Good
Sue.
at Tim.
And it was a Thursday, so one more day in the week for us. Thank you. For those of you who get to go to the Toronto thing this weekend, the Toronto television thing, enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time on the MIndreels for Smithy TV. I'm Tim. This is Sue. Thank you and good night.
Wow. Oh my God, good night.
This is News Night with Will McBoy.
Oh.
I love that show so much.
Newsroom?
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
So good. Love it. I'm in love with Olivia Munn, but